Welcome back, Icebreakers. Today, we have a big episode for you. We have two guests here to talk about their experience as an athlete on the University of Regina women's Cougars hockey team. We are going to get into the communication and playing styles of each player, the mental game of athletes, and lived experience and advice for all of you listeners and for future athletes. I'm very excited to introduce both of our guests today. They are both on the University of Regina women's hockey team. They are defensive partners and they share some interesting things in common. So our first guest is Jules Girardin. She's a second-year defenseman from Marone, Saskatchewan. She is in the Faculty of Kinesiology and Health Studies, majoring in human kinetics. And before coming to the University of Regina, Jules represented Team Saskatchewan for the 2023 Canada Winter Games in Prince Edward Island. Our second guest is Jordyn Blais. Jordyn is a returning fourth-year player. She was originally signed as a forward, now turned defenseman, and she currently partners with Jules. JB is an all-academic Canadian 3 years in a row, and she is currently in the Faculty of Arts, majoring in psychology. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Welcome.
Thanks for having us. We're excited.
I'm so excited to have you. I think this is going to be great to have an athlete's perspective, and can't wait to get into all of your experiences. It's going to be good. So I asked you to bring a couple items today that bring up memories of hockey for you. So can you explain, show and tell what you brought for us today?
Okay, so I brought my first little U7 junior novice jersey, number 6. I don't know. I think I brought this because this is where it all started, and my parents actually, they weren't even really thinking about putting me in hockey, so I was at the rink all the time for figure skating, and I kept seeing kids play with their mini sticks, and my mom said I grabbed like a file and to file down like the top of a stick and to play hockey with it. And then I kept saying I want to play hockey, I want to play hockey. So then my parents eventually put me in, and my mom said I would go out onto the ice and just be like, I just love the smell. And my mom she's a dance teacher too, so she was mortified.
Oh no.
And she wanted me to do the dance and the singing music, all that stuff. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I know something that smells are so distinct for any type of memory, and for me too, with softball, it's there's a specific smell, if you're out on the diamond, or the sunscreen reminds you of stuff. And so being out on the rink, I can't imagine, probably smells like home or brings up a bunch of different memories.
Definitely, for sure.
Okay, Jordyn.
Yeah, so the pictures I brought were from the first thing I've ever won in hockey ever. So at the time of these pictures, I was actually still playing boys hockey during the season, but then in the spring, we put together a girls team for the very first time to compete in provincials. And these photos were from Gull Lake, and we won in overtime, and it just brings back such good feelings. And I remember looking at my dad, he was assistant coach at the time, opening the gate, and he was tearing up, I was crying, and it was just such a proud moment. And I love thinking back to it because it was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love, not only do you have, the winning aspect, but it's the first time you were able to put together a girls team, an all-girls team, and then go and compete, and then you've got the family aspect in it as well, which is so cool.
Yeah, it was really special.
Oh, that's amazing. I cannot say, for me in my sports journeys and sport experiences, I have not had a lot of winning experience. Definitely won games, but, winning those tournaments or winning those big competitions.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that. My whole hockey journey up until I started playing girls hockey, I got very good at losing, so I totally relate.
I can add to that too. That was my childhood.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. And honestly, losing is a part of the game, which sometimes sucks, but honestly, I think it's harder to learn how to lose and get yourself back out of the sad feeling and be able to, continue playing the sport that you love.
Yes, it just makes winning that much more fun if you know how to lose already.
Oh, yes, exactly. Yeah. No, I love that. Okay, so we'll definitely get back to the idea of losing and your mental game a little bit later. But first, how did you come to play the positions that you are? So you're both defensive partners right now. Jordyn, you mentioned you were forward. So how did you get assigned these positions? Did you, what qualities did you like about these positions?
Yeah, I kind of have a unique upbringing. I've played every single position there is. Like I started playing hockey when I was around 5 years old. And once we got to the age where someone actually had to put the goalie equipment on, I actually started as a goalie. That did not go too well. My dad even told me a story. There was a game we were losing like 30-0, and at one point one of their players was on a breakaway, and I actually just left the net. So that only lasted a couple years. And then after that, I started playing defense. And then when I started playing higher level hockey, AAA, I switched to forward. And then I signed on the Cougars as a forward. But my first year on the Cougars, I got switched back to defense, which was a surprise that I wasn't expecting. So I played first year defense, and then second and third year, I got back to forward. But this year, in my fourth year, halfway through the season, I got switched back to defense. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but I really enjoyed playing both positions. So they kind of just get assigned to me, and I just kind of embrace whatever role I'm put in. But definitely been put in a lot of different roles. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh, I love that. You know, honestly, like being able to be adaptable is really good. Like obviously, like a certain position or you have a preference, but it's nice to be able to learn a lot of different positions, because then you get to be a little bit more versatile in like what you can do and be a little bit more of a utility player anywhere on the ice, which is nice.
For sure.
How about you, Jules?
Well, I actually started out as a forward, like in the really early years, and then just like as we got older, I was one of like the only ones who could skate backwards. So then they put me as a defenseman, and I feel like I've always kind of been more defensive. So yeah, and that's kind of how I got into it, and then I just stayed as a D. And then actually in my AAA years in grade 11, we were short on forward, so then I played forward in grade 11, and then trying out for Team Sask, like I knew I probably was not going to make it as a forward, so I asked my coach if I could go back to D before that. So then I tried out as a D, but yeah, that's kind of been my life and career as a D.
That's actually really cool. I think like I can stand on skates and I can skate a little bit, but like I admire anybody who can skate really well, especially backwards, because it looks like a lot of fun. I don't know why sometimes my feed will pop up with like skate instructors or hockey instructors like teaching kids how to skate backwards, and I'm like, oh, I think I can do this now, and I just like almost gaslight myself into being able to skate. But you know, that sounds super cool. Like, and you still had that switching back and forth, and like you had the experience of both, which is really cool. Would you say that or like what kind of benefits do you see in being able to play both positions? Do you see it like, is it mentally, is it in your skill level or strategy? Yeah,
that's a good question. And switching back from D to forward, especially in the last few years, being a defense is really cool because everything's in front of you. Like the whole play is always in front of you, so you get to see a lot more than you do as a forward. And then I've also learned things that the defense do that the forwards don't like, and vice versa. So in that way, when I'm playing defense, I'm like, I know as a forward, I would hate if the defense did this on the breakout, like a slow rim or something. So I think that mentality's allowed me to kind of like see from both sides and have a different point of view, I guess, on the ice.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, I can definitely add to that. Like even like I haven't played as much forward as you have, JB, but that's one thing I noticed when I played forward when I was with the Gold Wings in Weyburn is I definitely like added more offense to my game, which was good because I needed it. But definitely like as a defenseman, you do see everything in front of you, which is nice. So I feel like they kind of complement each other with the offensive and defensive aspect. But yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. And I think, I guess, how would you categorize like offense, defense? We've got the traditional, typically offensive goes and scores, and defensive, you know, like you stay back, protect your net a little bit more. Is there times where you're playing a defensive position, but you have a mentality of being on the offense or attacking, or vice versa? Can you, I guess, explain that maybe a little bit more?
Totally. Like, I know for me, when I first got switched back to defense, I was very defensive because I was scared to, like, make a mistake, so I always wanted to play it safe. But then later in the season, like, there'd be times me and Jules are on the bench, we're like, listen, like, let's try to jump into the play more. And there's times when you're skating up the ice and then a whole lane opens up. And so if you see ice, sometimes it's like, it's up to you to skate it and go get it down yourself. So it kind of just depends, like what you see in front of you. But there's definitely times where D will jump up in the play and rush the puck themselves.
I definitely think it's just kind of how the game of hockey is moving too. Like even when you watch the NHL now, like there's so many more offensive defensemen now, and there's obviously still some defensive, but I think of like Kill McCarr, like all over like TikTok and like Instagram and everything. They're raving about how good of an offensive defenseman he is, and he's putting up so many points just because he's able to like see the ice and jump into the play and be an offensive threat too. So
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, definitely. That's really cool. I think, for my sports, there really isn't like those positions where you're a defenseman and an offensive. I've told you I've played softball and wheelchair basketball, and typically you play both sides no matter what. And I think it's interesting to hear a different opinion or a different point of view of offense and defense, because in softball it's okay, we're not just hitting, and I know my coaches tried to like switch that mentality of, okay, you're not just hitting a ball, you're on the offense, like it's not just hitting, you want to get on base, and the running and the strategy behind that. But I think it's really interesting to have a label and be able to just switch around the mentality around it, and like see how that just affects your game and being able to go and maybe score if you see ice, like you said. So for your playing styles, is there a specific like defensive playing style, or how is that maybe developed over your career?
Yeah, I'll start that one off. Like it's hard because switching between positions, like I just said, like when I first got switched to defense, I was a very defensive player and I was a little nervous to jump up in the play and be offensive. But this year I definitely settled into the role a lot easier, and I started to rush the puck a lot more, be a little more offensive. And then as a forward, I would consider myself more of a playmaker than a goal scorer, and I like to be the first one in on the forecheck, get into the corners, and then look to make a play in front of the net. But it definitely has switched and kind of developed over like my Cougar career for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I would say for me, like, I feel like growing up, I was very defensive, and even like throughout, like when I started playing like girls even too, I was still very defensive, but when I was able to go play forward, it definitely gave me more offensive skill for sure, which was good. So yeah, I would say like my playing style now, I'm definitely more offensive, but I think the biggest thing for me is I want to take care of our zone before I can contribute offensively. So yeah.
No, I definitely like that. And I think, you make a good point about kind of like, first of all, like when you're in a new position or when you're just starting out and learning something and something new, a new skill, you kind of just like tunnel vision, just like, I just need to protect, I need to protect my home, I need to protect the net, protect your zone. But then when you get comfortable and solid in what you're able to do, then you're able to just
take some more risks.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. Sure. I think too, one thing I do want to follow up for both of you, because you both did mention, switching over to a girls team. And so is there a difference in game strategy or your playing style that I know it was probably a long time ago, but, and you were a little bit younger, but switching from, a mixed gender team or like typically an all boys team to going and playing on an all girls team?
Yeah, for me, like coming from a really small town, if you wanted to play hockey, you were on the team. So there was no tryouts or anything like that. And Turtleford, my team, was kind of known as being bottom of the league every single year. And I remember playing boys hockey is when I kind of thrived, and the girls on our team were the best players on our team. Mm-hmm. So playing boys hockey, like I would end-to-end rush the puck and I would score a lot of goals. And then when I transitioned to girls hockey, it got much more competitive, much more fast. And it was definitely a big difference in speed and just skill level, like with the people you're playing against, because the house league boys team, like I said, like anybody can play. So yeah, there was definitely gaps in skill, but yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say like, I feel like it was so long ago.
It was
like,
a long time ago.
But yeah, like I switched over in Pee Wee, so that would have been like grade 8, I think, was my grade 7 would have been like my last year of playing boys. So I would say there was much more of like, the guys kind of were like mad that you were like going end to end and scoring and like were better than them. But I don't know. I found girls was much more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But as for the playing style, I feel like I can't even like remember what it was like.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, you were just that much better than all of them that you're just like, okay, I don't even.
The only thing that matters.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I think that's like when you can say that you're a little bit like you're like, yeah, I was definitely better than these people. And regardless of like who they are, and like if you're the same age, it's just like, okay, like, and you can say that with confidence too. You're just like, yeah.
And I think it's something we're proud of too.
Yeah.
Like people might underestimate the girls a little bit. So to be the ones that were putting up all the points for our boys teams, like, yeah, I think it's something to be proud of for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's just like just a little bit of an ego boost, just based in like, yeah, since hockey just like started as a male sport, and then it's just like, okay, no, like we're as good, and if not, like so much better. So not even just a little bit better, just like there's a gap. No, I definitely, like, was there a difference? Like you said, girls was much more fun. Do you think was there any difference between team culture or dynamics, or like what was that transition like going from even just house league to maybe a little bit more competitive league?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind when you say that is like when we played boys hockey, obviously, yeah, same as Jules, like my last year playing boys hockey was grade 8. So we were quite a bit older and weren't allowed to get dressed in the same dressing room as the boys. So us girls, there was only a couple of us, and we get stuck in these small dressing rooms by ourselves. I think one time we even got dressed in like a janitor's closet at a rink or something. And so that really separates you from the team, and it was kind of hard with the boys having fun in the dressing room, and then we're kind of separated off somewhere else. So there was kind of a divide, and I felt a little bit left out. So when I finally switched to girls and I got to be a part of like the team culture all the time, like it was just so much more enjoyable, and you felt like you belonged a lot, easier, and it was just way more fun.
Yeah, I feel like, there's way more of a dynamic with girls, which is nice. And yeah, I can remember like countless amount of times dressing in some weird random room in a rink because there was like no other dressing room, and you would just go in a closet basically.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I can't even imagine with like the size of the hockey equipment too, like being in like a tiny closet, especially if it's like a janitor closet, like, and if you have like 2 to 4 like girls on your team, and then you're all trying to get
our bags would be like stacked on top of each other. It wasn't the best, but
makes for some good memories. Even though it wasn't the best, you can look back on it.
Yeah, for sure.
With some good memories, which is nice. So you've played. So you started out kids playing house league. Then you moved into a little bit more competitive with girls teams. And so as you were, leading up to playing for the Cougars, what is there, transition wise, is there a specific things that come to mind when you were transitioning from high school to university level hockey, or was there any differences, or if you faced any challenges? Just kind of, I guess walk me through what that experience was like.
You want to start?
Yeah. I would just say the speed of the game, and just like, especially as a defenseman, like there is way less time to make a decision. And that was probably the biggest thing I noticed was there's like in AAA, you felt like it was a jump even coming from like AA, but going up to like the U Sport level, you could definitely notice that like the girls, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're on you way quicker. So just being able to make quicker decisions and get the puck moving up ice for sure. So.
Totally. And the off ice commitment as well, like transitioning to a university athlete, you're practicing 5 days a week, you're traveling half the weekends of the year. The only day you really get off is Sunday, and that's when you're doing your laundry, dishes, grocery shopping, meal prep. Like, so the time commitment is definitely a transition from AAA, and especially like when I was in AAA, I lived a billet family. Then I got meals cooked for me, and that was a lot easier. So then moving out to by myself with roommates, where I have to cook for myself, like, and that independence, like that's definitely a jump as well.
Definitely. And like I had really great billets in AAA, so I was very like super fortunate for that, because I did have some teammates that had a little bit of horror stories, but Yeah. Anyway, so
I got off really lucky as well with my billet family.
It definitely makes or breaks your experience. So they did a lot for me, which was really nice.
Totally. No, that's awesome. I didn't realize that, AAA, you were with a billet family. So where did you end up playing for AAA?
Yeah, so I ended up playing AAA in North Battleford for the Sharks, and my first year I would just drove back and forth because Turtleford's only an hour away. So I drive up for practices and games, but then that ended up being a lot of driving, and I was kind of like, billeting would be fun, move out, get some independence, and my parents let me. So when I was 16, for my last 2 years, I moved to North Battleford, moved in with the billet family. So, yeah.
Awesome.
And I was in Weyburn for my AAA years, and I moved in grade 10, and I was with the same billet for the 3 years. So, yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. And so, did you make the transition, I guess, from AAA to university, but was it, did the billet family make it a little bit easier for you to transition into university, just, having that independence, like you said?
Yes, I totally think so, because I'd already experienced moving away from home before. You still do gain a lot of independence when you billet, because you have to go to a new school. And I know, people from my hometown probably had a way harder transition to university than I did, because I'd already had that whole experience once already. So it was a nice stepping stone for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. When I moved here, 2 years ago, coming and moving into my own place, it didn't really feel any different, just for the fact that I wasn't going back to Weyburn, I was going to Regina. But it definitely helps. In my grade 10 year, I just was so blown away with how much my parents would do for me, and I was just so grateful for them giving me the opportunity to be able to do it too. So I feel you definitely grow up a lot.
For sure.
In my grade 10 year, that's one thing I really noticed. So.
Oh no, that's amazing. I think for me in grade 10, I didn't go and billet or do any travel sports, and so staying at home, I loved it. It was great, but I think I definitely have a different admiration for people who go and live someplace else when they're in high school, and you're making a jump again too, and it's fun, it's exciting and challenging, and you get to play a sport that you love, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Really rewarding experience, I think.
Perfect. Yeah, I think a little bit more with, transition, after you transitioned into the Cougars hockey team, and you said, the billet families, they made food and everything like that, and then moving in on your own, or moving to live by yourself or with roommates, you've got to be the adult for yourself now. How is that, balancing, obviously, laundry and other daily tasks, school and everything, with the commitment to the Cougars team?
I think time management is a huge skill of student athletes. It's hard to balance your school and traveling, and then all of, the things you have to do for your house, cleaning and all of that. And it's definitely a skill that'll help all of us later on in life as well. But yeah, it's super challenging. You kind of learn to do your homework on the bus or on a plane whenever you're traveling. I'm huge on to-do lists. I always make a list of everything I need to get done in a week. So you just have to be really mindful with your time and kind of what are your priorities, and really lay it out to make sure you get everything done, because it does stack up for sure.
Definitely. My calendar is my best friend.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that happen in a week, and I'm oh, good thing it's on the calendar, because I wouldn't have remembered it.
Or the reminders app on my phone. Oh my God,
that thing
that's
loaded full.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's been times where I look at, I'm okay, what am I doing tomorrow? I look at my calendar, I'm oh, okay, so I have this appointment, I gotta go have this meeting, and yeah, definitely those life-saving moments. I thought I used to be big on to-do lists. I love making to-do lists. Now, whether I look back and use them,
not actually doing the things on the list,
but writing them is a different thing. I get lots of good satisfaction. My serotonin and dopamine just levels go up when I write everything down.
Or when you get to scratch it off when you've completed something.
That's my favorite.
That's honestly the best. I found a new thing that I like to do where I write what I need to do on sticky notes, and I've got a little whiteboard and I stick them up. I'm okay, what's urgent? What do I need to get done this week, maybe next week, and then by the end of the month. And I love being able to like pull the sticky note off the board and like crumple it up. It's just like, I'm like, okay, I can get like rid of it and throw it in the garbage, and it's so satisfying.
I do the exact same thing. I have top priority sticky note on my wall at all times. Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's hard though for me, I guess, like with school and sports and even like work too, like if you're balancing work in there, definitely hard to, I don't know, for me, just keep on track and have those, like still stick to those writing sticky notes or writing the to-do list and, you know, keeping with that routine, especially if you have like maybe a lighter week and you're like, okay, I can breathe a little bit. So I guess, do you work with like during season, or is it typically just school and hockey?
You don't really have time for a job. Like, I was fortunate enough to get into the Creating Coaches program through Hockey Canada this year. So nice. I got some money for helping assistant coach a hockey team. I helped coach the U18 AA Rebels this year, which was such a great experience. So I got a bit of money from that. But other than that, like, I mean, I don't know about you, but there's no really time. And I don't know any girls on our team that have like even a part-time job. I think it's just too hard with all the traveling and other commitments. But
it definitely would be a lot. And even like, I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a job this semester. Like, there's literally
no
not
time.
even a day. Like, and it's like a 2-hour window that I'd have. And I'm like, that's not working. So
the 4 months in the off season is when you just gotta
you just grind
work. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think for me too, I've been in those moments where I'm like, okay, well, I could totally work. And then I look and it's like, okay, I have an hour here, 2 hours here. It's not enough to have that full like 3-hour shift if you need to, and then traveling and there's so many more things that add up onto that.
Totally. It all stacks up on each other. But
I know one thing that I got into, which I didn't really consider before, was like remote work or being able to just like pop open my laptop, do a couple hours here, a couple hours there. But then again, as a student, I'm like, I should probably be doing homework during that time too. I guess, so during the summer, those 4 months, I know you guys told me a little bit about kind of some of the things that you've got in common. And one thing that you have is like kind of the same work over the summer. So why don't you tell me about that?
Yeah. So the year I graduated, I was working as a server and bartender, and I really did not like it. Just the time of the shifts and having to work weekends, like I really didn't like it. And living in a rural community, there is like nowhere to work. There's no jobs. So I decided to start my own cleaning business, cleaning houses. And I did that part-time while still working at this restaurant, and I ended up loving it. So the last 3 years, I've done house cleaning full-time. And last summer, Jules came to me and she's like, I don't know what to do for a summer job. Like, there's not really any options. And I said, you should start your own cleaning business, because I did, and it's been so great.
Yeah, I like loved it. So many people have been like, how did you get into this? Like, this is so great. I'm like, this is like credit to like JD 100%. So I absolutely love it. And it's like so nice how you can kind of plan when you want to work and work it around your own schedule and no weekends, which is really nice. So I used to lifeguard and I really did like it, but kind of like something different is nice too.
We bond over being cleaning ladies, and we have a lot of stories, and it's just it's super fun. And like you said, getting to make your own hours, taking the weekends off is like so huge, and I love it too. And we're both doing it again this summer, so
that's good. Hopefully it really goes well. I think I like the idea of being able to make your own schedule. I think that's like really nice and the best, especially if you want to spend time outside in the summer or take trips here and there. You're able just to organize your schedule so that you're able to do the fun things that you want.
Definitely.
Totally.
And like, I live on a farm too, so it's nice when my dad's like, get out on the tractor, I need you today. So it's like, I still have the flexibility to do that, which is good. Or be the gopher around the yard and run around. So
Oh, I love that. And so you said you like share some fun memories and stories from cleaning. Has there been anything that's been like super weird or that you've witnessed in like when cleaning someone's house? Like, do people like stay in their house while you clean, or typically do they leave, or like is there any like odd experiences that you're able to share with us?
I mean, there's a lot. The first thing that comes to mind is I was cleaning a camper once, not just houses. I clean campers sometimes. And there was a dead mouse in the sink, so like that totally freaked me out. Most of the time I get the house to myself when I clean, but there's certain clients that are home and with children sometimes. So sometimes I double as a babysitter as well, and the parents will be out in the yard and I'm looking after their 2-year-old who's kind of messing up everything I'm cleaning, but it's still fun. Oh my gosh, I don't know. There's so many stories I could tell. I meal prepped someone's supper once for them, so I do everything.
Oh my gosh, you get the full service.
I haven't meal prepped a supper yet, but maybe that'll come this year.
Yeah, you never know.
I have a couple horror stories with mice, but it campers, so that's kind of...
It's the campers.
It's the campers, but
they're not safe.
Maybe I'll have to do like a little bingo, like...
Oh my gosh, we should.
Like summer bingo thing and just go fill it out and go, okay, what are the things that and you can put the most ridiculous things on there. I don't know if you believe in manifesting, so I don't know if like writing it down is going to make it happen. It might be a bad thing, but I think it'd be funny if you're able to just go, okay, let's see if...
Okay, wait, I have one more to add.
Oh, yeah.
I was cleaning a camper and someone had a fake rubber tarantula on the top of their fridge.
On the top of the fridge?
Who does that? And it scared me so bad. And she thought it was hilarious. And it's the last 2 years, I've cleaned her camper the last 3 years, and it's still there every time. And I just have to pick it up. It's not real, but it scares me every time.
I'd have to leave, probably. I'd be like, sorry.
I hate spiders. That's probably like one of the biggest things. I'm just like, I cannot, like, I can kill them, but I do freak out a little bit first, and then I can like, okay, I can get rid of it. But if you see like the same, like especially if it's like a tarantula or like a bigger thing,
it was big.
You're not expecting it. It's just not ideal at all.
I didn't like it. No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so switching it up a little bit. I feel like we're doing like a 180 here, but with your mental game, we're backtracking a little bit, going back to hockey. So I guess how do you prepare for a game? What gets you in the mindset? Is there some things that you do that pre-game routine? Take me through your warm-up kind of thing.
Yeah, I can start. I think everyone's a little bit different. For myself, I like to watch the games back from the prior weekend, or if we had a Friday night game, I'll watch that on the Saturday morning or Friday night, and just kind of see what went well, see what I need to work on. And then I like to journal before a game and kind of just I don't know, pump myself up and just say I can do all these things. And I like to set 3 intentions for the game, things I want to focus on. And then I used to be a lot more superstitious, but now I'm kind of not, I don't know, but yeah.
That's me too. I'm not very superstitious, but I also rewatch the games and look back at my shifts and kind of pick out what I could do differently, what went well. In terms of when I actually get to the rink before a game, I really like to play sewer ball with the girls. I don't know if you've ever played that.
Don't think I know what it is.
Okay, well, you basically just kick a soccer ball around and try not to let it touch the ground.
Okay.
I'm personally not very good at it, so whenever we do elimination, I'm usually the first one to get out. But it is really fun and gets my energy up. But other than that, I like to just sit in the stands and look at the ice and kind of do some visualization, get my music going. But yeah, that's kind of all I do.
I like playing sewer too.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm not that good, but it's
take my
fun.
stick and that's one thing. I guess that's one superstitious thing. I have to tape my stick before every game, but.
Oh yeah, I don't do that.
You're if the tape's falling off.
If it looks good, why change it? I don't know. I would just leave it. But
oh my gosh, I think for softball, I remember I don't think we didn't play a sewer ball. I think with a soccer ball, I probably would have succeeded a little bit more. We would play hacky sack for a couple of years, and one year I think it was the coaches. They after a tournament, we were done our season. We were still tournament weekend, and it was a Saturday night, and we wake up, we meet together on Sunday morning, and they said they practiced hacky sack all night. And so they were showing off their hacky sack skills. And for me, I don't have what is it? I have hand-eye coordination, but I don't have foot-eye coordination. I am not good with my feet. Soccer, hacky sack, nothing. So I would definitely be like you, JB, and just at least I'd be out. And they'd be like, oh, Avery. And I'm like, yeah, Tell me to catch a ball. Yes, I can do that. The kick it. No.
Well, good thing you play softball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can catching the ball is good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Pregame, I think, Jules, with you and journaling, I think I can definitely resonate with that because I've done that as well. And like in my journal, I'm like, you got this. Like I hype myself up too. Yeah. And I know some of my teammates are like, oh, like, what are you doing? And sometimes I didn't journal necessarily before the game, but it would be, like at the end of the night and like reflecting on what I want to do or what I did, if I want to do something better, or if there's anything, frustrations that I had during the game and whatever it was, just able to like let it all out so I could sleep. And I remember like some of my teammates are like, oh, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, this is what it is. And some of them, sometimes they would look over my shoulder and, read my journal. And normally I'm like, it's kind of private, but it like sometimes they're like, you talk to yourself so nicely in your journal. And I'm like, I do. I want to hype myself up because It's just like, I don't know. I think sometimes it's a little bit more like, obviously having teammates to support you is really nice, but I think like you being your biggest cheerleader is something that is unmatched. I think is is super important.
For sure.
Okay, let's see, more mental games. So you got the pregame on the ice. What is happening in your brain? So you've visualized what you want to do. You've set your intentions. Now on the ice, how does that play out? If it works for you or if it doesn't work, like how are you talking to yourself during the game?
Oh my gosh, like every game's so different. Like you just have to adjust to what's in front of you. Like no game is ever the same. But it's really important, I think, if you make a mistake or you don't like how a play went when you get on the bench, just to reset. And I think that's something we did really, really well as D partners this year is like, I'd be like, oh, Jules, like that pass was so bad. I'm so sorry. And she's like, no worries. Like, let's just focus on the next shift. So just every shift is a new opportunity and kind of reading what's in front of you and adjusting. It's kind of hard to predict anything. So you just kind of got to trust yourself and your abilities, your preparation, and trust your teammates too, because they're on the ice with you, talking to you. So
yeah, definitely. And I think too, like something that always helps me is I'm like, I can't go back and change it too. So I'm like, I can be mad about this or I can be disappointed that I did this or this happened, but I need to look at moving forward and what's going to happen next. And like you said, like no game is the same and no shift is the exact same. So just being prepared to go out and do the best you can.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I definitely like that. And, like, I think it's hard to get into the mentality of being able to forget what just happened. And I think, like, I can definitely relate to you in being able to just go, hey, like, yes, like, I'm accountable for what I did. I'm sorry, made a bad pass or whatever. But it's nice to be like, okay, you said it. And it's like, okay, we're good. We're good. We're going to go out there again and do our best and see what comes at us. Yeah. And like, but it's a lot of practice. Like, how long did it, like, do you even remember when, like, the switch happened or for, like, I forgot about that. Like, I didn't even know that happened in the game. Like, is there moments like that where someone brings up, oh, do you remember this? And you're like, I have no idea. I let that go.
Yeah, well, like, this is still something that I'm still practicing to this day. Like, there are games where I do get really frustrated more than others. And like you said, it's important to recognize what went wrong, but just to be able to forget it and start a new shift. But I'm very aware of everything that I do, so that doesn't happen to me very much where it's like, oh, I don't even remember that happened, because when I mess up, it is hard to forget. So that's why it's really important to practice that skill, because it is really hard to do and to just put it behind you. But
yeah, definitely. And like you said, like it is a skill. We're all still practicing it every single day. And I think too, it's just kind of like rewiring your brain a little bit and just trying to focus on the good or setting a goal for the next shift, even to be able to like, yeah, I want to focus on this. Or if you got scored on because you didn't have your girl, like being like, well, next time they aren't going to score, kind of thing. Like, so it's just kind of putting something positive forward that you can look at. So
yeah, how do you, I guess from a psychology perspective, I guess looking at you, JB, because you're in psychology, that just put you on the spot, but just thinking about, is there anything that helps you, if you're stuck in your own head about a play, is there something that a teammate can do, or like since you're defensive partners, like if you're on the ice and you see something, you're like, okay, she's in her head. Like, is there something that another person can do to help you get out of that mindset?
Yeah, well, the first thing that comes to mind, something we've talked about, is being first to next. And so I think that's kind of the mindset I try to have, and I've learned to try to have, is if you mess up and you recognize that you're on the bench getting ready for the next play, how are you going to be the first person to be like in the next play, getting the next shot on net, having the next back check, like just focusing on your next shift and what you can control. Like, I think that's so important and something we've talked about as a team. And then in terms of D partners, like me and Jules, I don't know, I think communication and encouragement are like the two big things to do for each other. Definitely, like, I'll recognize that I did something wrong or not a good play. We talk about it, and then the other person just encourages you, say, hey, don't worry about it, like, clean slate, next shift, let's go out and do this. So just having somebody to kind of give you that extra push to put it behind you, that encouragement, and like as teammates, we're always all cheering on the bench for each other too, so that helps. But yeah, communication and encouragement for sure is like, that helps a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, even like being D partners, like if I like made a mistake and I came off, I'd always just be like, what should I have done differently? Or like from your perspective, like what did I not see, kind of thing. And so I think just like talking about it and just being like, okay, like next time we got it, or if the girl's on me here, like I'll make sure, just kind of like setting yourself up for success in like the future part of the game.
I like what you said, like what could I have done differently? Because obviously like we see it differently than the other person saw it. So giving our own perspective to kind of, instead you should have done this, you'll get it the next time.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I like that. I like that, like pure coaching, and you're just like, you're there to support each other and not bring each other down, which is crucial. And like having that positive mindset, and what did you say? Like, is it first to next, which I like that. It's like, okay, how can I be involved in the play, like the first person to be involved in the next play? And I think that's really cool, because it's you get a little bit of confidence and assertiveness, and you're like, okay, I can get in there. This is my time. I can contribute, which is amazing. So for a negative moment during the game, or like if you get scored on or whatever that may be, how do you, like, what goes on in your head? How do you either maybe bring yourself out of more of maybe a negative mindset, or if you are like, okay, I'm good, like you've let it go a little bit, and how do you bring your team along with that if there's a negative moment in the game? Yeah,
I think body language is huge. So like when you're having a moment when you're upset with yourself, you want to try to keep it contained, because your teammates are feeding off of your energy. So like for me personally, what I do is like I just like take some deep breaths, and it's a lot of self-talk. I'm like, okay, yes, that was bad, but like I'm capable, I'm confident, like I can do better the next shift. So I think a lot of positive self-talk, and just kind of giving yourself a few minutes to accept what just happened, put it behind you, and then continue putting on a brave face for your teammates and keep cheering, because like I said, everyone feeds off of each other, so you can't let it get to you too much, or else it'll start getting to the whole team. So I think that's important. But
one thing I've always like visualized, I guess I should say, is like a red button that I like push, and I'm like, okay, that's gone, I'm gonna be better the next shift. And so I think that's like just like a mental thing that like I actually can just see, and I'm like, okay, the next shift I'm gonna be better. And I think too, like after you've had, let's say like not your best shift, like going out the next shift and like doing, like having an awesome shift, that's kind of what I always think about. Like if I got scored on, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go have a really good next shift, and I'm gonna make sure I do my job better.
Totally.
I like that. I like the visualization of a button, because I think, like everybody has their own different mental tricks and mental sayings that they can say. And I like the idea of a button for those people who are a little bit more visual. And it's almost like it can be like a big red flashing light, and you're not supposed to press the red flashing button, but you are, because you need to reset. You need to do a system reset, and you're ready to go, which is exciting. I guess do you have any advice, I guess, for mental performance for younger athletes, or if you're coaching athletes, how do you get them to be like, how do you, I guess, inspire them to hit that reset button?
I think my biggest piece of advice is to not get wrapped up in the things that you can't control. Like, the things you can control are your attitude and your work ethic and your mindset. So, like, as a player that's, like, not got to play every game, like, especially on the Cougars, like, it's really important to not let that get to you and worry about on the things that you can control. I'm losing my train of thought, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I think, too, like, especially when you're young, like, I think the biggest thing that piece of advice I would give is just have fun. Like, it goes by so fast. Like, I can't believe I'm already, like, going into my 3rd year with the Cougars. Like, that's crazy to me. So, yeah, I would think just, like, enjoy the moment and work as hard as you can to, make the most of it.
Totally. And, like, embrace every opportunity that you're given as well. Like Jules said, it flies by so fast. And, like, these are really special years of your life. So just, focus on having fun, and, like, the friends you make are going to be your friends forever, and just, making the most of every day and every opportunity, because it is a privilege and, like, a really special experience. So.
Oh, no, I like that. And I like how you highlighted too, it's like those pieces of advice that you have are not skill related. They're not game related. Like, yes, they can be used in the game, but it's all about what surrounds the game. You got the friendships. Like, you can see the bond that you both have made, being defensive partners and being on the team, and just, that's just like a sneak peek into the environment that is the rest of the team. You've got so many other people on the team that you've created relationships with, which I think is amazing, and just, a testament to the hockey program here at the U of R, which is amazing. And I guess one more last piece of advice I was wondering if you're able to give. So you mentioned that, you haven't been on like getting consistent playing time, and you have had to sit on the bench, JB. And I don't know about Jules if you've had a similar experience, but do you have any advice for those athletes that want to see more playing time or aren't getting the playing time, and they are spending a lot of time on the bench? What kind of advice can you give them?
Yeah, I mean, my first 2 years on the Cougars especially, like, I think I only played half the games, so I spent time in the stands, like, just watching and taking stats, which nobody wants to do. Like, obviously, you want to get out there and prove yourself and get a chance to show what you can do. And it kind of goes back to what I said earlier about the team feeds off your energy. So I think it's important to just try to embrace whatever role you're put in. So if you are seeing a game, like, be the best cheerleader you can be, cheer your teammates on and give them encouragement. And then when you get the opportunity to play in a game, like, use that and make the most of it, because back to what I said too about, like, controlling what you can control. You can't change the fact that you're going to sit a game, but you can control, like, how you're going to respond to it and how you're going to take an opportunity. So I think it's really important to lift your teammates up, and whatever role you get put in, just try to make the most of it and learn from it, and it'll help you grow in the long run, honestly. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I can't speak to not being able to play, but I think even, like, I was injured this year and I broke my wrist, and just even being out for a short period of time, like, I think the biggest thing was just trying to feed with the energy and making sure, like, everyone was still staying high in the game, and, everyone was still, their spirits were uplifted, and kind of doing what I could to, like, kind of fit my role and doing as much as I could in my role of not being able to play.
And it's not an easy thing to do. Like, you want your teammates to know that you're sad you're not playing, but at the end of the day, like, you have to do what's best for the team, and that's to cheer them on and put a smile on your face. So it's not easy, and it's takes a lot emotionally and mentally just to be able to make that switch. So.
No, I can definitely relate to that. I can relate to just, the emotional energy that it goes into cheering on for your team, cheering your team, and just, I can see the effort that, some people I'm a little bit like you, Jules, and that, I got the privilege to play most of the time. And so when, people are sitting on the bench, and I just have a different appreciation, and I can see them and see the effort that they're putting in, and even though it's not directly impacting what's happening situationally in the game, like, they're not out there making the plays, but they're there, emotionally, mentally, being able to support the team energy and everything that it takes to be able to win. They're still contributing.
And that does make a world of a difference when you see the girls that are sitting cheering you on and hyping you up. Like, I notice a difference in my game when the girls that are sitting do it for me. So, like, I want to make sure I return the favor and do it for them too.
Definitely. And even like being one of the people that are in, like, I want to make sure I'm doing my best, you know, and I'm putting forward and helping the team as much as I can too, because I know that the people sitting in the stands, they want to be in my spot as much as I want to be. So
Totally.
No, that's perfect. I think you have given some really good advice to every type of player, doesn't matter, regardless of position, and just a really good insight into your experiences, but also, you know, the team culture and team environment and what you've done to be successful, with the guidance of Brandy this year, being her first year as interim head coach. And yeah, do you have anything else you'd like to share? Anything else that's come to mind that we really haven't discussed today?
I don't know. Can you think of anything?
I don't think I can. No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
I think we've covered a lot, which is amazing. So I just want to say a big thank you for coming on the podcast today. We appreciate your life experiences and your stories and your advice and everything, and wish you the best in the off season. I think it's exciting going into summer and then being able to come back and hit the ice.
Yes. No. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
this was a lot of
thank you
fun.
very much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on Breaking the Ice.